philosophy is the love of wisdom, and so it is the cultivation of wisdom, or if you will, of reflective living. Having been a professor all my life, it is the mark of the educated mind is the reflective mind. The person doesn't merely learn and memorize theorems or laws or principles or the facts of history and the changes, but he or she is able to evaluate any such claims as far as we can. Now, most of the things we cannot test because we depend on other authorities. If I go to a dentist, or if you go to the dentist and he tells you have a cavity and that he needs to drill and refill it or extract the tooth, you defer to authority, though he explains it to you. If your car breaks down, you take it to an automobile shop and you hope he's honest and will not overcharge you. But when he tells you something the matter with the car, you accept his judgment. So most of the things that we do depend upon authority. But the reason we accept these authorities is because we believe that their judgments are based upon experience, experiment, learning, and knowledge in their own field. And so we do accept that, but in our own life, we also need to apply reason to problems that we face to see whether or not and to what extent we can resolve our problems and move forward. So that the second principle of secular humanism is our commitment to a method of inquiry and our commitment to the understanding that our beliefs, theories, hypotheses, convictions, in some sense, can be tested objectively. And particularly in dialogue with other people who disagree, we need to be prepared to defend as best we can the claim that we make. If a doctor tells us that we've contracted a serious disease and that he will be able, by certain medications, to cure that, well, we assume that other people have tested that and we accept it. Yes, we do defer. But on the other hand, in our own personal lives, when we ask who should we marry or divorce, what kind of occupation should we study for, where shall we live, what political party shall we vote for, shall we believe in religion that conflict, which religion or none, and what is the justification? So in one sense then, reason is a crucial part of living a life well lived, and any person who wants to live well needs to employ critical intelligence as a tool or a method in living. Now, some people are passionate and emotional and fly off the handle and do not consider, so we need to deal with emotions, desires, deep-seated and strong, and thus it is the union of reason and emotion in life, the effort to work out our passionate desires in the light of the situation by rational balancing. I mean, this is what Plato said, and Aristotle said, and Spinoza, and John Dewey, and philosophers down to the 21st century. And it is the mark of an educated person who, as best he or she can, will try to lead a reasonable or sensible life. But now, secular humanism surely goes beyond that. It has a program for society. It suggests that the best method of social change is education. And we put all of our effort in educating our children, our grandchildren, and ourselves. So knowledge becomes the instrument of the good life, and our values need to be reconstructed. The major problem, according to John Dewey, the great American pragmatist philosopher, is that the values that we hold have been inherited or are based upon habits transmitted by our parents, our teachers, the community, and we need to be prepared to modify our values in the light of new situations. So a central principle of humanism is growth, moral growth, development, the willingness to change, to be modified, and to alter our way of life. To what end? Well, we say to lead a significant life of satisfaction, well-being, to find life interesting, exciting, enjoyable, to realize our potentialities, to discover new things, to meet new people, to explore new aspects of the goods of life in relationship to other people. And that is a very significant ideal. It is an ideal that the philosophers have emphasized and which I think educated people in our democratic cultures appreciate. Ethics is not transmitted from on high. You do not simply accept what the religious teachings of 2,000, 2,500 years or 1,400 in regard to Islam. You don't simply accept them, but you try to modify and change your values in the light of this progressive knowledge, which is central to whatever we do. So that the humanists today have emphasized science, education, learning in democratic societies. We're committed to democratic processes, to deliberation and discussion and dialogue and modification. And that means that we're willing to live with change. We're committed to change. We recognize that conditions today are different than they were 20 years ago, 50 years ago, and they will be altered even radically in the next 50 or 100 years.